All right, let's jump right in. Today we're doing a deep dive looking at just one day, June 14th, 2025.
Yeah, and our lens for this is USA Today's headlines from that specific day.
Exactly. It's like a snapshot, isn't it? Shows all these powerful things happening, kind of converging all at once across the US and, well, the world.
It really does. And the source material uh, paints a picture with some pretty stark contrasts, lots of tension.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to pull out the important bits, right? The insights that kind of pop out when you see these different events happening at the same time.
Precisely. It's about connecting those dots.
Okay, it definitely felt like a day with a lot of friction reading through it. Where should we start with this snapshot?
I think the most striking thing, domestically anyway, is what was happening outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Talking about these No King's Day protests. The source says they happened in, get this, over 1,500 cities.
Wow, 1,500. That scale is something else. And the report was clear on the why, wasn't it? A rejection of authoritarianism.
Exactly. And deliberately timed and located, like you said, outside the Capitol to specifically counter what was happening in D.C.
A counter-narrative, basically.
You got it. And the reporting notes, things weren't always calm, like in Los Angeles. Clashes near federal buildings.
Oh, right, I saw that. National Guard, Marines involved.
Yeah. Tear gas, curfews mentioned. It really underscores the intensity of this kind of decentralized pushback.
Okay, so you've got this widespread, sometimes pretty heated dissent across the country. Then the source shifts focus to the capital, D.C., for that contrast you mentioned.
Right. While all that's going on elsewhere, D.C. is hosting the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade.
A very different kind of event. Big scale.
Huge. Almost 6,600 soldiers, 150 vehicles. A major display.
And the timing. The source pointed out it was Flag Day and also President Trump's 79th birthday.
That timing is absolutely key to how it was perceived, at least according to the critics cited in the paper.
They called it a politicized military spectacle, I believe, and mentioned the cost.
Yeah, big cost. Estimated between $25 and $45 million. So the insight the source gives us is this stark image.
Huh.
A nation split, right? A huge, costly military show in the Capitol.
While thousands protest against authority elsewhere. That's quite the juxtaposition.
It really is. And this tension wasn't just symbolic. The source also digs into a legal fight, specifically in California, that gets right at these power struggles.
Ah, yes, the federal versus state control issue.
Exactly. This really brings that conflict into focus. The reporting covers a federal appeals court decision. They basically approved continued federal control over California's National Guard.
And the deployment of Marines there, too, right? About 700.
Correct. And this appeals court ruling, it temporarily blocked a lower court's decision that it actually favored Governor Newsom, who wanted state control.
So the feds maintain control, for the moment at least.
For now, yes. The source says the final call gets pushed to next week, but it just, deepens this underlying fight.
So what this legal battle really shows, based on the source, is this fundamental clash playing out over who's actually in charge of forces like the Guard during domestic situations.
It's a very concrete example of that tension hitting the headlines.
Okay, so we have these deep domestic fault lines, but the source also reminded us that other big things were happening that day, totally separate from the politics.
Yeah, shifting gears completely. There was a geomagnetic storm watch, space weather.
Right, which is fascinating. The source mentioned two potential effects. Pretty northern lights.
Which sounds nice, yeah, but also potential problems for things like GPS and maybe even power grids.
A good reminder that, well, stuff beyond our immediate control can still affect us down here.
Definitely. And then there was the international dimension, too. The source highlighted rising tensions, specifically in the Middle East.
It mentioned Israel's Operation Rising Lion.
And the response? Heavy missile and drone reprisals from Iran.
And the U.S. reaction noted in the source.
Prompted U.S. military forces to redeploy to the region. So, you see how quickly global flashpoints can shift resources and attention, even while these major domestic stories are unfolding.
It really shows how interconnected everything is.
Absolutely.
So pulling it all together from this one day's headlines, you've got major protests, a big military parade, legal fights over authority, space weather issues, international conflict flaring up. It's a lot.
It is a lot, all happening side by side.
When you see all these different kinds of events, these pressures, domestic, legal, natural, international, crammed into one 24-hour period like this, what really stands out?
Well, I think that leads to the final thought we want to leave you with.
Okay.
As you look at this interplay protest clashing with state power, legal authority being fought over, even cosmic forces and global conflicts entering the picture, all in a single day, What does this specific combination, this confluence, tell you about the complex, multifaceted pressures shaping this particular moment we're living through?